Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 2nd of 2022, and we're only getting closer and closer to the official release of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly what, of course, director Deborah Chow really has in the cards for the return of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, and even, yes, the Sith Inquisitors. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really interact with you guys further. So it's even all the more exciting right now is that there's a lot of developments happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm between a ton of new Star Wars TV shows that are about to be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year, by the way, which happens in May, as well as new announcements coming next year as well that's really going to expand the roadmap by Disney CEO Bob Chapek. And that's one thing that Chapek is really trying to do, is that he's really trying to create his own legacy of Star Wars, to really give the fans his take on the franchise. And when you look at everything of what's happening between The Mandalorian Season 3, the Ahsoka Tano show, the Kenobi series, there is a lot of things that not only John and Dave Filoni are working on, but also exactly, what Disney CEO Bob Chapek is allowing to happen before our very own eyes. Now, on top of all of this, what's even all the more intriguing has everything to do with actor Mark Hamill. Now, lately he's been a little bit more vocal, a little bit more vivid about his experience on the set of the Mandalorian series, especially the Season 2 finale. In case you guys did not know, Mark Hamill had no involvement with Luke Skywalker as a character in the Book of Boba Fett, so that was purely just, going away from Mark Hamill for that episode. And it seems like that John, George, and Dave really have their heads on straight of improving the overall design of Luke Skywalker. Now, on top of all of this, what's even all the more interesting is that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars projects, such as Star Wars Ahsoka and Mando Season 3, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are also beginning to work on new Star Wars TV shows that will expand the Star Wars Legends material. However, it's noted that in a recent interview with actor Mark Hamill, he went on to reveal new and surprising details about actress Gina Carano and the character Cara Dune in the Mandalorian series. Mark Hamill went on to reveal and say that when we were developing the second season for Mando, believe it or not, we had a completely different ending planned out for the season finale directed by Peyton Reed. Now, there was in fact supposed to be a scene that involved myself outlining the character of Luke with Max, and having a full-fledged scene with Gina Carano's Cara Dune, talking about my sister Leia. It was going to be a very heartwarming moment that was going to also bring back Han and Leia's theme by John Williams from the original trilogy movies. John and Dave really worked hard with Gina to make this scene happen, and they figured it would have touched the fans' hearts to have a post-Return of the Jedi version of Luke talking with Cara Dune about his sister. It was going to be an extensive scene, believe it or not, where Cara Dune was going to be the one in the room to tell everyone else who he is and what he had done to Darth Vader and Palpatine, as well as the Death Star. Now, let me just stop right here from what Mark Hamill is saying, is that if you guys actually saw the Disney Plus gallery about the second season finale of Mando, and what Peyton Reed had to talk about Luke Skywalker, is that nobody in that room really knew exactly who that was in that very given moment. So characters like Cara Dune, Din Djarin, etc. didn't necessarily recognize exactly who this person really was at first. And they wanted to make it a little bit more direct, using Cara Dune as to who this figure really is, who this legend really is. And they wanted to actually do that with both Cara Dune and Luke Skywalker having some form of communication about his sister Leia. And at the end of the day, we got what we got, which was not that. It was basically shifting away from that and making it more very much bare bones. Luke Skywalker just entering into the room, telling him that he is a Jedi, asking for Grogu, telling Din Djarin that Grogu's asking for his permission and stuff around those lines. So I really do think that it's great of what we got in the second season finale, but having that conversation between Gina's Cara Dune and Luke Skywalker about his sister Leia, I think would have been very much like what Mark Hamill is saying, very much heartwarming and kind of giving that real true, original trilogy feel with the Han and Leia theme from the originals and throwing that into the scene. I honestly believe it would have been perfect. It would have been absolutely amazing to have something like that, and it's unfortunate that both, of course, Cara Dune and Luke did not get to interact in that very given moment, given that Cara Dune has had a lot of relations with Leia, and we're going to be learning more and more about that. So on top of this, Mark Hamill goes on to also state, alright, he goes on to say that Cara Dune was going to go over Luke's legacy and informing the characters like Din Djarin and others who this Jedi really is. But it's something that John, Dave, and Peyton eventually believed that it may have been a bit over the top for the very first appearance of Luke in The Mandalorian. And so they wanted to stick with a more vague debut of Luke with fewer lines and more action that we got. Personally, I think that Max, along with myself, did an amazing job, and it was such an honor to work with John and Dave. I know that Gina was rather upset about her scene not making it into the final season finale. We even partially shot the scene, and it's reworked, of course, with Han and Leia's theme from the originals. It was going to be beautiful. I will never forget when I was on set with Gina, we actually rehearsed some of Luke Skywalker's dialogue for the scene. This was all kept under wraps, mind you, from most of the crew, and that John and Dave secretly made it out to be a scene that featured a mysterious Jedi, kept from it being Luke. So, obviously, John and Dave, they did a good job at keeping, Luke Skywalker in this particular given moment under wraps. And when you look at everything related to John and Dave, alright, these guys are passionate. They know exactly what the fans want to see. They know exactly what fits and what doesn't fit, what's too much and what's too little. They also discussed this in the Disney Plus Gallery episode, where it was really a back and forth scenario between themselves and Peyton Reed. How much Luke is too much Luke, how much is too little Luke. And when you think about it that way, they really had a really good judgment. I think that they balanced it out perfectly. The amount of Luke that we got, of him taking down the Death Troopers, him taking down all of the Dark Troopers, I should say, everything related to that. It's a very interesting way of how they had action mixed with an emotional segment, and how it just really kind of connected with the fans. You can see the reactions from the fans online, and even Lucasfilm acknowledged that they were very shocked, very, pretty much surprised about the type of reaction that they got from this particular scene. So on top of this, Hamill goes on to say that instead, John and Dave wanted to shift away from Cara Dune's explanation of who I was in the room and decided to stick with me entering the room and asking for Grogu. It was truly a hard decision for FAVREAU and FILONI, as they loved the Cara Dune character. We even had this entire scene planned out from the beginning before we began shooting the second half of the season. It was truly a remarkable experience to be a part of this again, and I cannot wait to work with them again. So, obviously, Mark Hamill, he loves John and Dave. He loves what they did with the Star Wars universe. And I think that Mark Hamill's being a bit more open now because he feels relieved that he was at least a part of something positive and something beautiful, like he said, and how it isn't necessarily like how it was with The Last Jedi, where a lot of fans were very upset, very angry, criticizing every single scene that Luke was in that movie. You can only imagine what was going through Mark Hamill's mind. So on top of all of this, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.